Hallo Freunde der analogen Unterhaltung, nach einer kurzen Pause geht es jetzt hier weiter mit Cool Mini or Not und einem weiteren Gast. Hi.
Hi, I am Chagwaranya. I will not even try to speak German because that would be sehr schlecht.
I will try to speak English again.
Sorry. So I have here for you today The Others.
The Others.
Eric Lang's horror board game that Asmodee is just doing an early limited release here at Essen. It's going to be hitting retail worldwide basically very soon. Kickstarter backers are getting theirs. Europe, there's been a slight delay, but everybody should have theirs until the end of the year. So let me just dive right into The Others, because there's a lot to dive into. So this is a horror board game in which you are, the players is one against many. So one player is playing as one of the 7 sins. So you're playing as maybe pride or sloth, which are the ones that come in the core box. And then if you want, you can explore the expansions that bring the other sins in. And basically you are fighting the other players who are controlling these heroes who are trying to kind of fight back the invasion of these demonic, sinful forces. And it's kind of like a mix of superheroes and demons and kind of Cthulhu-esque monstrosities.
Fighting at each other.
Yeah,
and
trying to defend the city. And so basically you have all these heroes going around the city and trying to do the actions to fulfill their mission. So this is the mission that we chose. The game comes with 7 different missions that have 3 different modes, and each one kind of brings different elements to the game.
So one mission?
So we have like redemption missions, and we have corruption missions, and we have
7 different missions.
Of course, everything in the game is 7.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
And then we have terror missions, and then we have 1 extra badass final mission.
7 red, blue, 7 green dice,
yeah, of course,
7 red dice, blue dice.
Exactly. We have 7 heroes. We have whenever we tried, whenever we had the decision, how many of these do we put? Let's put 7. It just makes sense. And so each mission will have different mechanics, different objectives, and basically the heroes are trying to go through this tree, fulfilling these things so they can win the game. At the same time, the Sins player is using its monsters, which come in all shapes and sizes. I have a preference for the avatar of Pride here, which we are very proud of him.
Yeah,
and basically, Sin is using its acolytes and abominations and avatars to basically kill the heroes, either through sheer force or by corrupting them. And the thing is, the heroes themselves, they can use corruption to their own gain. I think if you take a close look at how a hero works here. So each of the hero has one of these dashboards, and you have your unique ability and all that, but one of the neat main aspects of the game is corruption. So before I do any role as a hero, if I'm attacking and I'm trying to clean the city, remove these bad effects from the board, I can choose to take corruption. And if I do that, I raise my corruption level like this. And that means I get all the bonuses from that level down. So if I am at 5 corruption and I decide to take corruption, I get all these bonuses, and that makes me very powerful. But the thing is, once I am fully corrupted, any corruption I take from the Sins player becomes a wound. So I am that much closer to death. So the more powerful you are, the closer to death you are. And the thing is that when you take wounds, you start hiding these bonuses. So you need to choose which things you're going to sacrifice and how far are you willing to push to gain the power to defeat the Sins. And so as a Sin player, you're always trying to tempt the players to actually use that corruption, because you want them to, like, you're fighting me, you want to over-corrupt. You want to kill my monsters, but I want you to take corruption. It's going to make your life easier in the short term, but in the long term, you're going to lose the game because I'm going to kill you all. So that's this very, very fun back and forth.
You have to find a balance between...
Exactly, you need to find when it's worth it to take corruption and when you're just going to have to maybe look for equipment so you can become a little more powerful, just gain some stuff. Because one of the neat things as well is that the board, it's very alive, because this is a city and each district offers something to the heroes. So when a hero is here, he can use his city action to use this district and gain its benefits. So if I go here, I can actually gain an extra action. I get to heal and I get to take an equipment. And but only one hero can do this per turn, because now this district is used up. So you're trying to use the city against its invaders, which is a very nice thing. You can also gain allies. You have the police chief, you have a hacker, and you have some allies that will help you move faster and fight harder as you're trying to fight back the Sin's forces. The game has a very interesting flow as well, because players take turns, and the single player can choose when it takes its turns. It's not a fixed structure.
Okay.
So you take your turn, another player takes his turn, and then I, as a single player, goes, okay, I'm going to react to you. And you never know when I'm going to act. Then the single player spends one of his activations here and does something, moves someone, attacks you, and then maybe he sits quietly for a while, planning his things. He has his special action cards here that he's preparing.
Every sin has its own card.
Has a different deck of cards. So
Trägheit and Hochmut, two of the 7 sins.
So each of them bring a different thing to the table, and you're trying to prevent the single player from getting more of these cards, because if you can stop certain rituals, then I don't get as many cards, and I can't play these really vicious things on the players. So I'm sitting quietly here, scheming, planning how to do my cards, and then suddenly I react, I play some cards, and I destroy a hero. And one thing, you don't get attached to your heroes, because they will die. That's why you have some heroes on the board, and some will be on the reserve. And when one dies, the other one comes in.
Oh, you play more than one character.
Yeah, you can play more than one hero. So heroes will die. If they don't, the single player is not doing his job properly.
Heroes will die.
Well, it's a very dire situation. And so then what happens is the players only lose when a hero dies and there's no one else to replace them.
Okay.
So you need to manage.
So there's a number of characters depending on the number of players, and then all characters are gone.
So there are always seven heroes available.
Sure.
So and they're
of course.
Of course. And
I don't ask any numbers anymore.
Exactly. And so there are always 3 or 4 heroes on the board depending on the number of players. Mm-hmm. But then you always have the reserve no matter how many players are actually in the game. So it's always the same length of game. It doesn't matter how many players are doing it. It's just how you share the heroes. Mm-hmm. And well, amazing miniatures. This is really the best we've ever done. And you have a lot of replayability because the game comes with different acolytes that you can use, 3 different kinds, 2 sins, 7 heroes, 7 different stories, 3 different game modes. Each story you can actually use 2 maps on each story, so there's a different setup. Okay. So there's like 14 just maps, and then there's the sin you choose. You basically set up what sin I'm playing, and then what acolyte I'm using. So this creates a whole different vibe for the sin player, and different story types bring different things to the game. And then if you add expansions on top of that, then it's just crazy how far you can take this game in terms of replayability.
By the way, the other 5 sins are already available in English, or?
We made the whole thing. They are being released slowly. So you can. The thing is, enjoy. The core box has more than enough for you to play this game for years.
Yes.
Then with the expansions, you have even more options to try new stuff with the game. We have the Apocalypse box as well that brings even more, a whole different game mode to it. So we really tried, because we worked as a modular thing, so you can just plug in different things to make the game feel fresh all the time with new heroes and acolytes. So that is the basis of the other.
Really cool, really epic. Yeah, I love it. And Eric M. Lang, such a run.
Yeah,
one cool game after the other. I heard about the next one. The Godfather is already in the
Godfather. We have Rising Sun coming up afterwards.
So put Eric M. Lang and Cool Mini or Not on your watch list.
But we don't do just Eric Lang games. We do have
of course.
I just want to
one last question. It's available at the Spiel, at the booth of Asmodee.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know the price?
Hall 1, I do not know, and I won't try to guess.
Okay.
Because I don't know how it goes in euros.
Das Spiel ist auf jeden Fall in der deutschen Version bei Asmodee am Stand erhältlich. Wir wissen nicht genau, wie teuer es ist. Es wird natürlich schon ein bisschen was kosten. Es hat wirklich eine Menge Material und krasse Miniaturen. Aber wer da Bock drauf hat, wie gesagt, die deutsche Version ist da, geht da mal bei Asmodee vorbei. Aber das ist nicht das Einzige, was wir dabei haben. Ihr habt natürlich noch andere Spiele.
2 games that are coming. We have Gekido Bot Battles.
Gekido Bot Battles. Okay, let's talk first about that.
It's an arena robot fighting game that comes with only 6 figures, but that's what they look like. And they do come pre-painted.
No way.
So this is something we are very excited about.
It's like Pokemon for adults.
Yeah, exactly. And so you're basically putting these robots to fight in an arena using action dice to give them commands. Here, there you go.
Here it is.
There's a base there. You're rolling action dice, kind of Yahtzee style, to give them the commands, and you're trying to go for the harder commands. But if you fail, then you take damage. And so it's a very streamlined, simple game, but with a lot of strategy, with cards you can play, and you can position yourself in the arena to gain benefits from. I have the high ground, so I'm more defensive, but my attacks are a bit weaker. Each robot does different things. They have their own powers, and as they take damage, they unlock new abilities.
And it's for how many players?
It's 2 to 4.
2 to 4?
2 to 4 players, plays in half an hour. It looks great, very catching visuals. Fast and furious gameplay. We're really happy with this one. It should be coming out in English at the beginning of next year, and I'm sure we will have a German version at some point.
Okay, quite interesting, really cool minifigures with a really unique own style.
Exactly.
I love
each one has its own personality.
Cat fighter, and I love really this one.
Yeah, overclock. I really like him.
I don't know. I realized there's a face.
Yeah, there's a little face hidden there.
Show this one again. Oh, hier. Ist ein Gesicht innen drin. Really cool. Thanks. Okay, ihr habt noch eine Sache. One more thing we like to show.
It's Ethnos, which is a fantasy board game by Paolo Mori, who's a Spiel des Jahres nominee, and with art by John Howe, who did the concept art for the Lord of the Rings films.
Okay.
So we really lucked out on managing to get John Howe to do the art, because on this game you're basically trying to unite tribes of different folks to dominate the land. So it comes with 12 different tribes, and they all look as John Howe does them. So what you're trying to do is, like, you're buying cards from the face down deck or from an open pool on the table, trying to create bands of the same color or the same tribe.
Okay.
And then when you make one of these bands, you play it down, and you get to gain some control over the board. But the thing is, any cards you don't use when you play down a band, they go to the table for the other players to buy face up. So if you're just hoarding cards, you'll end up giving a lot of options to your opponents. You need to be very careful about what you take. And the other neat thing is, when you create a band, you need to choose who's going to be the leader. So if I make like a green band, I can choose to have the Minotaur as the leader or the Orc as the leader. And only the leader will actually use this special ability. So the band can play very differently depending on who you put on the lead. And this gives a lot of strategy to the game, even though the base rules are extremely simple. You're just buying a card or playing a band. But then you're competing for strength in different regions and trying to use the leaders as well as possible. And so there's race for glory towards the end. It plays very less than an hour.
Okay.
2 to 5 players.
2 to 5.
And it will cost only $35. That was what we're aiming for. So a very cheap package with amazing production.
And it's going to release next year also?
Yeah, early next year as well.
Early next year, Anfang nächsten Jahres, damit zu
this one
rechnen.
I'm also sure will show up in
Also
in
get
Europe.
the German version. Okay.
I'm sure. Come on, why wouldn't you do this?
Yeah, I would do this, but I'm not a publisher.
Come on, you should get into that.
Okay, we think about it. No, also bei die beiden zuletzt gezeigten Spiele, die gibt es natürlich noch nicht auf Deutsch, die sind jetzt auch noch nicht fertig, gibt es auch nicht auf Englisch, die kommen erst am Anfang nächsten Jahres, Anfang 2017 dann
Ask your
raus.
local publisher to bring this game to you.
Ja, und hier also, wer möchte, meldet euch bei Cool Mini or Not. Ja? Es soll natürlich auf Deutsch rauskommen, wir würden uns auch freuen.
Okay.
I think so.
Ich habe nicht verstanden.
Du hast nicht verstanden. Yeah, I told them what you told them.
Okay.
That, yeah,
I agree with
they're
you.
looking for a publisher. Contact Cool Mini or Not
Exactly.
for a German version of Ethnos.
Exactly. So it's been a pleasure.
It
Thank
was
you
a
very
pleasure.
much for the
Thank
time.
you for showing up and presenting your cool games on our live stream.
Thank you very much. Auf Wiedersehen. Dankeschön.
Ja.